To become more creative, you have to understand what creativity is. Creativity is the reorganization of patterns. Okay? It's that simple. To the degree that you can reorganize patterns and create new interlocking patterns, you are creative. And so if you want to exercise your ability to be creative, what you want to do is to experiment with putting different combinations together. Okay, people do that when they're cooking, people do that with styles of music, people do that with the clothes that they wear, and to the degree that they can change up those patterns and mix it up with other patterns, they are said to be creative. The starting point to creativity is to first absorb patterns, right? To raise your consciousness, to incorporate within yourself an understanding of more and more patterns, and that's gaining experience. And so you go out, you leave your house. Actually, you don't even have to leave your house. You can go online, you can go anywhere and just start absorbing information. Just start absorbing the patterns of your environment. And in order to do that effectively, you have to be present, right? You can sit down in your house, you can sit down in your room, you can sit down in your car in traffic, you can sit down on the bus heading to work, and you can start absorbing your environment by putting yourself in the present moment. By putting yourself in the present moment, you will be privy, you will have access to more in your now. Right? You can do this very simple exercise. You can sit down in any room and you can close your eyes and you can start listening for the furthest sound that you can hear. Just listen for the furthest sound that you can hear. And at first you'll just hear the sounds that are in your house or that are around you. But as you exercise that ability, as you start paying attention, as you start focusing on your present moment, you're going to start hearing sounds that are further and further away. And what that shows you is that even right now, sitting where you are, you have access to more than you are aware of. And when you bring your conscious awareness to here and now, it expands the here and now and gives you access to more. It gives you a greater potential to learn, to grow, and to understand. And so, you sit down in any environment, you become present in any environment, you go to a friend's house and you be present. You go to a party and you be present. You sit down and you listen to a song that you've listened to 100 times and you try to hear something different in that. That exercise, that focus will allow you to pick out more of those patterns, more details. And then in the privacy of your own mind, you can just reorganize those patterns in different ways. A fun way to do that is to think about past experiences that you've had and to imagine different endings to them. Or you can imagine your future experience and to be creative with that, right? Something that I feel like a lot of people don't do, and I would really encourage you to do this, is to fantasize more, to spend more time in fantasy. I'm talking about fantasy not in terms of visualization. Visualization, often we get goal-oriented with that. I'm visualizing something to make it happen. But what I'm talking about is fantasy. You want to visualize, you want to imagine just for the sake of fantasy, for the sake of imagination, for the joy of it. When you do something just for the joy of it, then you're not tied to the limitations of your experience. You're not tied to how you want it to be. You can just imagine anything. A wonderful starting off point for me is when I'm watching a TV show or a movie that I really love, and I get to a point where I feel absorbed in the movie, I pause the movie, I pause the TV show, and then I place myself into the shoes of the character. And then I ask myself, what would I do in this circumstance? What would I do in the zombie apocalypse? No, what would I do if I was standing on that stage? What would I do if I was the president of the United States? What would I say? And then through the power of my imagination, I just sort of think it through. I just sort of imagine what could happen. Now, at first, it's kind of difficult. You don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say. But as you sit down there with the expectation that you will find something, then ideas and thoughts come to mind. And then you can play around with them until you find something that feels interesting. When you find something that feels worthwhile. And when you find that thread of interest, you just start pulling it and pulling on it. And then you allow the fantasy to unravel in your mind. And what you're going to discover is that your mind, once you give it enough fuel, has a remarkable ability to take on a life of its own. And then your creative process, through that creative process, you discover a creative force. And you feel sort of moved by your imaginations, moved by the thoughts and visions in your head. So if you want to become more creative, you have to get more patterns. How to get more patterns? You expose yourself to your environment, and you do so by being in the present moment. Go to a meeting that you would never normally go to. Listen to a song that you would not normally be interested in. Eat a meal that is not something that's on your regular list of things to eat. Give yourself more experiences. Take a different path home. Talk to a stranger on the bus. Anything that you can do. Buy a camera at a store and learn how to use it. Buy a paintbrush and learn how to paint. Pick up a guitar and learn how to play. Whatever it is that you do, give yourself more experiences. It doesn't matter if you do them well or if you do them poorly. More patterns equals more potential. More potential for combinations. More potential to be creative. Becoming a more creative person is a fun thing to do. And even if you had no reason to do it, I would do it just for the hell of it. Oh, I remember I watched this video one time. I think it was on a YouTube channel called Big Think. It was about orchestrating serendipity, right? Serendipity is a fortunate accident. And this person was talking about how you can do that on purpose. You go to whatever your field of interest is, whatever your domain of expertise is, go to a meeting that is completely different than what your field is. Go to a meeting that is completely separate, a seminar or a conference or something, and you sit in that audience and you try to apply your knowledge to the problems that they're trying to solve. You try to apply what you know to their category of interest. And what you're going to find is that there might be something that you can offer to these people, to offer to this community, offer to this group that they themselves could not come up with because they are locked within the boundaries of their own experience. And when you put yourself outside of your comfort zone, when you put yourself in a place that is foreign to you, and then you challenge yourself to apply what you know to what's going on, then you're using your creative mind. Then you're taking patterns from two different domains and you're squishing them together and coming out with something new. So that's a fun way of developing your creativity. Just putting yourself in situations that are foreign to you and to absorb the patterns and to find a way to apply your patterns to the experience that you are in right there and then. But being present-minded, being right here, right now, is an excellent way to train your mind to be creative. By being present in this moment, you expand the now and you have access to more that you can then recombine in novel and exciting ways. There is one more way that you can become creative. Well, there are many ways, but this is one that you might want to consider. Have you ever heard of a lucid dream? A lucid dream is one where you are conscious that you are dreaming while you are dreaming. Okay, so we all have dreams, whether we remember them or not, but you can train yourself to wake up within a dream. Now, lucid dreaming is a whole category on its own, but I'd like to tell you that one tool for developing the ability to lucid dream and to develop dream recall, which is very important, the ability to remember your dreams, is to have a notebook by your bed or a recorder by your bed. And when you wake up in the morning, to journal your dreams, to just mark down a few words, a few lines about what your dream was like. You can also speak it into a recorder if that's easier for you. As you wake up, the dream is sort of fading into the background, and so immediately you want to get that done. The first thing, you don't want to wait. By cataloging your dreams, you're accessing that part of your brain that's creative on its own, right? Your subconscious mind. And when you see what your mind comes up with, and you see the patterns that are displayed in your dreams, you might find it very interesting. And then you're mining yourself. That's literally mining your own subconscious mind for more patterns that you can then use in your conscious waking life. And so I know it's a little out there, but I challenge you to pay attention to your dreams and look at what your dreams are telling you. Your dreams are feeding you creative thoughts and ideas, and you can use them to your advantage.